The French Revolution by Gurpreet Singh and Armand Singh. The Tennis Court Oath. The Tennis Court Oath. This was an oath pledged on June 20th, 1789 by the 557 deputies, and the oath that was pledged to remain assembled until a new constitution had been drafted and implemented. Also, this oath was a pledge taken from the Third Estate deputies. We were getting scared that our country might be in a revolution, but the scared feeling was cleared when the King Louis XVI decided to rejoin the Estates, just 2 days after the oath was taken by the 557 deputies. As the news spread about the Tennis Court Oath, we had found out it was written by Emmanuel Sieyès and administered by Jean Sullivan Bailly. The September Massacre. The September Massacre was the biggest out of all the trouble we were in. When Louis had been arrested, France made a decision to go attack Austria before they attacked our country. Before the war started, some people were saying the war should not go on because we do not have the budget, and we are not trained to go in war with Austria. As the war started, the thing happened we were scared of. Austria was defeating France and getting closer to us, and they were miles away from Paris. Also, when the war was going on, Prussia decided to join Austria to defeat France in the war because Austria and Prussia were very close together in relationship. The scariest part of all of this was that we were losing and they were getting closer to us. As the war was going on, we were saying that France should have not attacked Austria because now our land was being taken over. Storming of the Bastille. Storming of the Bastille on July 14th, 1789. And for your information, the Bastille was a prison. When this was going on, we had felt the best ever because this was a chance when we go against the king. As we approached the Bastille, there were some guards, but we outnumbered them by a lot. The guards got in position, but there were too many of us that they could do nothing. When we got inside and killed the remainder of the guards, we had let out all the prisoners and got the governor captive. We also got what we came for, the gunpowder. When we got everything, the last thing we did was destroy the whole Bastille to pieces. At the end of this, only 100 of us were killed because of poor weapons we had like knives and farm tools. The execution of Louis XVI. The execution of our king, or was our king on that day. There were two moods, either happy or sad. Most people were happy because they wanted to punish the king for his crime, and I was part of this group. And a few people were sad because they were loyal to their king whatever he did. Those people said he was still our king as Louis was caught trying to flee to Austria. The charge that was put on him was treason. Louis got to meet his family the day before his execution. As his time ran out with his family, a guard came to get him. As he woke up, he got ready, then prayed to God, then was escorted to his closed carriage, and taken on a 1.5 hour journey through town. I got up early so I could get a good seeing point right at the front of the guillotine. As Louis came, everyone was booing the king. As he got out of the carriage, he removed his coat and collar, and then they cut his hair, after strapping him to the plank and placing him under the guillotine, and then he was dead. As I was cheering, giving hugs to everyone, everyone was doing the same as me because we were just super happy. The Reign of Terror. The Reign of Terror was the worst time for anyone living there at the time, because if anyone was an enemy to the revolution was executed. Example, if someone said, "You should stop this and let the country be," as soon as they found out this was going on, there's no chance for justification, but they were taken to the guillotine and then they were dead. This was the bloodiest time in France's history. The Reign of Terror lasted a whole year from 1793 to 1794, and 40,000 people died, and all of this was controlled by Robespierre, and 300,000 people were arrested. The Palace of Versailles. The King and Queen expanded the hunting lodge at Versailles into a grand palace with more than 2,300 rooms. It even has a famous hall with golden carvings and around 350 mirrors. People are saying that the palace also has a golden gate and manicured gardens. All this luxury is being enjoyed by the king and queen. While many people of France don't even have food on the table to feed their families, many people are dying of hunger Rumor says that when the queen was recently told of starvation of her people and asked to help supply bread for the hungry, she just said, let them eat cake. All through, people don't even have bread and could dream of having cake. Anger is growing because while people are starving, the king and queen are spending enormous amounts of the nation's money remodeling and expanding this disgusting structure and providing themselves with every possible luxury. Rumor has it that the queen has even built on the grounds of Versailles a perfect little village with a peasant cottages by a lovely river so that she can go there, pretend to go live a life of a peasant. The life of a peasant is a game for her. I hope she also goes without food and feel the pain of hunger when she enjoys pretending to be a peasant. Women's March on Versailles. I was at the fish market, trying to buy some salmon, when the noise came from the distance caught my attention. When I got closer, there were a woman drumming and shouting, "The king is a baker, the queen is baker's wife. Give us bread." Quickly, a crowd of few women grew to thousands, chanting angrily and carrying kitchen knives. I joined the crowd of women and marched 22 kilometers with them to the Palace of Versailles. On the way, we broke into the building, got a cannon and weapons to bring with us. Anger was rising in all of us as we marched. After a while, the National Guard joined in the march. When we arrived at the palace, we demanded to see the king. He joined us on the golden balcony to address the crowd that he did promise us bread. Some people went home at the point, but some of the crowd, including me, stayed overnight. In the morning, some of the women broke into the palace and killed some guards. Rumor has it the queen only escaped the angry crowd because of the secret passageway to the king's bedchambers. At that point, we demanded to see the king again. When he came out to talk of us, we demanded that he return to Paris with us, and he agreed. Then we demanded to see who really hated the wife of the devil, our queen, Marie Antoinette. She stood on the balcony with our guns pointed at her until a foolish man, General Leviathan, came onto the balcony and surprised the crowd by kneeling before her and kissing her hand. This distracted the crowd long enough for him to lead her off the balcony. The king and queen had no choice but to march back to Paris with us the next day, with the promise of barrels full of wheat seed so we could grow wheat to make bread for our families. This event provided the encouragement to the Third Estate to make further action to improve society for our people. It was the start of the Great French Revolution, which changed the whole world forever. The Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen. The people of the Third Estate are outraged over the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen, drafted by our government. While the clergy and the nobility are smiling, the people of the Third Estate know that this document does not provide for many of us. Also, the document talks about rights regarding freedom of thought, religion, security, and property. It states clearly that the rights within do not extend to women, people who do not own land, people under the age of 25, or slaves. The document should be ripped up, burnt, and forgotten, just like the foolish king and the queen of our nation. The stabbing of Marat. This week was a horrifying week because the people of the Third Estate lost a loyal and important leader of a revolution seeking rights and freedom. We had heard that the supporter of a king and queen, Charlotte Corday, planned to kill Jean-Paul Marat, a leader of a revolution, at the Bastille Day festivals. When this didn't happen, she went to his home and asked for an audience. She was taken to his bathing room, where he was doing work from the bathtub. She quickly took out a knife from her clothing and stabbed him viciously. Rumor says that he died quickly. What a loss for our movement. At her trial, 4 days after the terrible event, this wicked woman said proudly that she took one life to save 100,000, and thank goodness she was executed 4 days later by the guillotine. The Jacobins. We were initially thankful for the work of the Jacobins. On our behalf, they planned and plotted to destroy monarchy in France, set up France as a republic. But now the Jacobins have gotten out of control. They are executing thousands of people who do not agree with them. Their motto, "Live free or die," sounded good to start with, and so we supported the Jacobins. But later, this motto came to mean if anyone although the Jacobins were becoming too extreme, they might end up dying. The Jacobins have in fact executed so many people at this time period, and now we call the Reign of Terror. Some people are fighting back. Recently, one of the most famous Jacobins, Jean-Paul Marat, was assassinated in his bathtub with Charlotte Corday. But despite the opposition, the Jacobins have become so powerful and extreme and they have set up a new state religion. They have also thrown out the old calendar and set a new one called the French Revolutionary Calendar. At the beginning of the Jacobeans seemed great because they took out the monarchy, but they have really gotten out of control and become great a threat to the rights and freedoms of people of France, including the people of the Third Estate. The end.